I've been saving the best for last. No? Okay. If I can just take a minute to introduce Mr. Mark Miller and say a few words. Mark has been working tirelessly since before he took office, when Fergus and I almost hijacked him to bring him here to say a few words, and he brought a very nice letter from before then he was not Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. See how old I am? And he's been right in our corner ever since. As I have to keep saying, he doesn't have a magic wand and he can't make everything happen the way all of us want. First of all, we all want something different. But he has been there, and he has been one of the most fiercest fighters to make sure that this happens and the memorial takes place the way it should. So, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Victor. First, what Wanuarado, Easy Ninigang, Sawayatorodo. Greetings in Mohawk to all here gathered. I want to first thank Donovan King. I spent yesterday reading your 20-page, I guess, mild dissertation on everything that's gone on, and what shocks you as you read the paper, and I would encourage everyone here to read it, is the 170 years of abuse and desecration that these cemeteries have suffered. The one has now formed the Wellington Basin. There were some allegations that there were bodies in the Cholera Cemetery in 1832, and then this cemetery, along with the one in the Lachine Canal, bodies thrown everywhere. It is really a reminder to all of us gathered here today, and I have two great-great-grandfathers that came over during that time, one from Cork and one from Armagh, and so it's in part a personal tribute to them that I've been fighting as hard as I can on this. It's a remember, and to borrow the phrase that the Taoiseach used, him in turn borrowing from what's on the Statue of Liberty, is we are all that wretched refuse on the teeming shore, and that's precisely what the Irish were and what we all are. We inherited that, and the reality is that we commemorate the fallen behind us, underneath us, every time we go to bed on a full stomach, every time we enjoy the life and liberties that a vast majority of the Irish fled and were deprived of them. They came to America looking for life, liberty, and prosperity. They found it in Canada. We've inherited it, and we put it into action. Montreal is just an enormous symbol of that openness, the open-heartedness. If you look at the Grey Nuns and the various orders that sacrificed themselves, the mayor of Montreal that sacrificed his life to do, as Donovan mentioned, help save the remaining 70,000 that didn't perish, and essentially doubled the size of the city. Imagine several million people coming on our shores today. So every time we open our hearts and we judge people on what's in their hearts and not what's on their head, every time we welcome them to Canada with open arms, like we've done with Syrian refugees and many refugees, waves of refugees before, we're honoring the victims of this famine. We do need a physical place, and we're at a very, very critical point in time. And like I said, there's sometimes people are prone to finger pointing, but we've got 170 years of finger pointing to take care of before we start the current wave of finger pointing. And I would truly urge everyone to stay united. You can point at the railroad too. They have their own share of the blame in all this. There was an expropriation in 1910 or 11 with the Grand Trunk. Donovan can fill you in. But they took a part of the property and dug it out, and some of the cemetery was used as a dumping ground. So there is a lot of responsibility to go around. What is more important in all this is the implication of the mayor of Montreal, of the provincial level and of the federal level. Never have these, in my mind, I've been doing this for 3 or 4 years, this may be my 5th year, never have I seen so many people pulling together in the right direction. And I encourage your militancy, keep pushing. We have a long history to commemorate, and we do need an appropriate place for people to gather and go through their thoughts of what it means to be the descendants of, again, in the words of the Taoiseach, the wretched refuse left on the teeming shores. This is a small start, but an important moment in time for all of us. Thank you very much. Thank you for your support, and thank you to everyone involved.